What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another video. This video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be about an idea that I'm going to try and explain about sectoral buildup when in possession of the ball. And before we get into the tactics and the explanation of that, check out both my books. They're online on Amazon and there's links in the description below. But let's get right into the video. So sectoral buildup is an idea I'm using to try and explain how some managers might build from the back. As we see, we have these highlighted zones highlighting each of the players involved in the first and second line of buildup. So we have two central defenders, two narrow fullbacks, and one holding midfielder. And the importance of these zones is to maintain stability. The team must occupy each of these zones, no matter who it is, so we get into a place where we can use positional fluidity to change who these players are. But the main important thing is this structure maintains its shape, so we have control when in possession of the ball. So the keys are this structure is set up in a way that if we lose the ball further forward, we are secure at the back and won't concede dangerous transitions. So we'll be able to control the opponents even if we lose possession. Now the key of this is also we have access to these dangerous areas through diagonal passes and through vertical passes. Also, we're set up to go around the opposing team's block and set up a third man facing forward against the opposing team. So now let's get into why this is so important. So we have the use of the half space from our central defenders and even our narrow fullback, giving us one more diagonal passing option into the wide area. So the central corridor is only utilized by the holding midfielder and the deep number 9. These zones are very hard to access and progress through because the high density of players, as we see here, our players in these areas are controlled by 4 defenders, making them very hard to play through and often having them be there as placeholders. So by our players being here, it forces the defense to react and forces their defensive movement to be affected by our players. So as we said, most important thing is the base of our structure remains intact no matter who plays in these roles. Then the next most important thing is we have players higher up the field in the dangerous areas where we can progress and break the opponents through. Then we have our wide players who become flexibility, and even our deep number 9 becomes a player with more freedom because of his role in the center, not having as much access to the ball. And if he vacates this space completely and overloads one side, we have 2 players now able to then progress through and help each other create space, where now the 2 central defenders are left free and have now harder decisions to make on how far out of their positions they go to then follow the opponent. So our 9 also has more flexibility and can correct the structure if need be. So here's one example. If our fullback goes higher, our number 6 drops, then we can often have one of our interior midfielders drop in as a placeholder for our holding midfielder, and now our winger come narrow as our fullback occupies full width. So this easy rotation, often seen by Liverpool, is just a simple way we can have different players occupy different roles. So now we have different qualities in each of these dangerous positions, as well as different defenders responding to their actions. So as the wide midfielder, he is typically oriented towards the fullback, so his position might be manipulated. A number 10 might be drawn towards the ball, and now their structure is compromised where we can offer routes to break them because of our movement able to disrupt their defensive shape. And now this isn't the only thing that we need to consider in this sectoral buildup idea. We might even have more structures to use and different reference points on when to use them. So much of the time, we can have a structure for 2 holding midfielders now. So if the situation occurs to where we have 2 holding midfielders dropping in among each other, we might have now a different response to how to respond when we have 2 holding midfielders. So whether that be our number 8 dropping alongside our 6 or our inverted fullback, we might now have a structure to accommodate this new section, and the reference points would all change. So we might even have just single width a makeshift back three that's off-centered, giving our winger more isolation in the wide area to then use qualitative superiority, typically positioning himself past this midfield line so he can break and take advantage of a 2 versus 1. So it's not just about one structure, it's about different sections of the team's buildup that they can use to create chances to progress the ball while maintaining security. And these different sections, when one's vacated, the sections might change, and then we might see different players occupying these roles. So it's all about maintaining stability while trying to break the opponent and get dangerous players on the ball in dangerous areas. And that's where we're going to wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.